what's going on, and they ended up telling me that I had leukemia. And this paper that I signed to consent for chemo, in the beginning, pretty much said that a secondary cancer was possible. They made sure to remind me of that.
Alright, hi everybody, it's Jethro. So I'm just giving people the opportunity to be heard, tell their story, throughout whatever they're going through, it's I think it's very important, and more people should get the opportunity to do that. So lady of the hour.
Hi, my name is Francesca or Blackshear. I was first diagnosed with synovial sarcoma in 2015. It was November 2015. I had given birth to my son in the end of August 2015. I started to feel a shooting pain down my leg. While I was pregnant, they told me it was sciatica because of the positioning of the baby. But now that the baby was delivered, there was no explanation for this pain that I was feeling. I tried to explain the pain to friends and family, and some family members even told me, "Oh, you're not the first person to have a baby. You're exaggerating your pain." One night it became unbearable. I had just started a new job. I called my boss and said I couldn't make it in. I was just in extreme pain. I ended up showing up to work anyway, in fear that I would lose my job. And she really just pushed me, and she set the appointment right for me on the computer and said, "You're going to this appointment." So I went to the appointment. The doctor said, "We need you to do an MRI." And so now I would have to miss another day of work. So I went to her and I told her what the doctor said. She said, "Go ahead and do the MRI." So I did the MRI, and after the MRI, they said that the mass seemed suspicious, and they wanted me to go ahead and meet with Sheila Conway to do a biopsy. So at this time, I'm still not thinking I have cancer because I eat right, I exercise, I don't smoke, I was active my whole life. The only time I wasn't active was while I was pregnant, which I thought I was on bed rest. I was fatigued, but other than that, I was in really good health. I even took a picture 2 weeks after my pregnancy, and everyone was like, "Wow, snapback." So I really just thought it couldn't be cancer. Next thing you know, after they did the biopsy, a team of people walked into the room, and they say to me, "Hey, we have to talk to you. We have to let you know something. You have cancer." So I'm looking at my son, who is about 6 weeks old at this point, and he's in this car seat on the floor, and I'm like, "Okay." And the only word that I could say was "okay," because it just seemed surreal, and I didn't want to admit that, I had cancer. My mom starts crying. My son is looking at me, and I'm looking at him the whole time, just saying "okay," because how fair could this be? I'd just given birth to my son. I had a 2-year-old daughter. It just seemed unfair. Afterwards, didn't get much time to think of it, think about the whole thing. I had to get prepped to get a catheter in, a trifusion catheter in with trilumens. And I had to get an echo done where they had to check my heart to see if it was strong enough for chemo. I had blood tests. I had everything. And then the next week, I started chemotherapy. I had adriamycin and ifosfamide, and I just remember it feeling like, with the meds in the bag, and I just remember it feeling like death. And I think the first round was bad, and then it just seemed to get tougher and tougher. But by round 4, they said that it shrunk in size. We were going to do radiation to see if it could shrink more. And after radiation, do surgery, and then 2 rounds of chemo. So I did the radiation, I did the surgery. They took the mass out. I had to learn how to walk again. I remember different coughs, feeling like a burning sensation, a stabbing sensation, because the nerves were regenerating. And it was just a very painful process as the nerves regenerated. Learned how to walk. After I learned how to walk, I tried to go back to living life normally, but it was hard, and The whole time I was being strong, like they told you to be strong, and try not to have a weak moment. And like, you know, people kind of convinced me that having a weak moment meant that I didn't trust God, which now I know that's not true. Like, the reality is, cancer treatment is tough. Okay, it's like somebody getting shot in the leg and telling somebody don't cry about it. Like, it hurts. Like, so you're free to cry. You're free to say, oh my gosh, this sucks, because it really sucks. And I think it does disservice to people who have family members that are also going through treatment to sit here online and be like, oh, it was awesome. God saw me through and I felt nothing. Because that's not the truth. God did see me through. But, I mean, I did feel something. It probably wasn't as bad as other people. But you do feel. And it is tough. I decided to only do 5 rounds of chemo, not the 6. When I asked the doctor how would my percentages increase by doing the 6 rounds, they told me 2%. Now, had I known from 4 to 6 rounds your percentages only ended up improving by 2%, I wouldn't have done the 5th or 6th round. But I did the 5th round and I stopped because literally I felt like it was going to kill me. I felt like my body had had too much. So I went to this place called Pathways in Dallas, got some therapy about the situation, admitted, you know, what was going on with me, and that felt good, and I was moving forward with my life. And as soon as I graduated from the program, moving forward with my life, less than a month later, I find out that I have leukemia. I'm getting ready to go to work, and I'm asking for my release papers from the doctors and trying to figure out what's going on. And they end up telling me that I had leukemia. And this paper that I signed to consent for chemo, in the beginning, pretty much said that a secondary cancer was possible. They made sure to remind me of that. And but the chances were supposed to be so slim. Like when I was taking the first chemo, they made it seem like it was just nearly impossible. So of course I was like, okay, if this is what's best, let's just go do it. And I kind of ran into it, and now I'm with leukemia. And they were like, it's TAML, and the prognosis is not that great for it to be treated because it was caused by chemo. So that was a hard pill to swallow, and I couldn't find information as readily about leukemia and the types of leukemia and lymphomas and stuff like that as I did with sarcomas. With the sarcoma, even though it was a rare sarcoma, there was so many studies available, so many things for me. But leukemia, it got more complicated because then it got into which protein markers lit up, which this and that, and it was just a little bit overwhelming, especially overwhelming to try to figure out as you're receiving chemo. Because they tried to show me, even though I got cancer from chemo, I had to take chemo to save my life. And I did my first round of chemo. It's called 7+3. It failed. My blast actually quadrupled. And
jeez, that's pretty bad.
It was tough. I just remember sitting on the bed, like crying, and they're like, well, we have to start you on high deck cytarabine right away. And it's like there was no time to Google it. There was no time to, and I was just still trying to figure out, you know. And so we started with high deck cytarabine, and they're like, we need you to write your name now. And I was like, okay. So I signed my name, and I'm like, why am I signing my name on this blank piece of paper? And they're like, oh, because you're going to keep signing it throughout the treatment so that we know that your motor functions aren't messed up and that your cerebrum's not messed up. We want you to stand up. We want you to do balancing acts and tricks and all that stuff. And I was just like, man, this stuff is pretty serious. I ended up spending 46 days in the hospital. It was coming from the front. It was coming from the back. I just remember feeling weak, feeling dizzy. Like some days not having energy, some days having energy. And, you know, I definitely kept in prayer during that time. And I felt like God carried me through it, because me visualizing what I went through and what I remember feeling are two different things. The visualization of it was horrid. But I remember just feeling like a peace. It was the hardest part for me during that was to be away from my kids for 46 days. And then I was finally able to go home for 2 weeks, only to have like 3 appointments a day and to see multiple doctors, get multiple blood work. And so you're home, but it's like you're working full time at the hospital, the amount of time that you're here. Then after that, they decided that I was transplant ready, and I've been here for, I'm on day +8. So how it works is you come in and it's day -7, and on day 0, you get your stem cells, and then you count up from there. Right now, my numbers are low, so we're waiting for my numbers to bounce back up so that I can go home, and I'm anticipating going home in about 3 days. I did an allogenic transplant. My sister was my donor. We end up being the same, a 10 for 10 match for HLA, and we even match blood type. So then we're close in age, same sex. So, they predict that it's going to go smoothly. And I met Jethro here, and he's been telling me about the experience, what to expect, and how to minimize, complications. And I am taking every word that he has to say because I don't need complications. And that's all.
All right. Well, thank you so much for telling me everything. Your story is very tough, and couldn't imagine to go through all of that and, have kids on top of it.
I remember my son, me having to be in another room and hearing my son cry. And, as a mother, I wanted to run to him. One, I couldn't move because I was just, so debilitated. I couldn't even move, so I couldn't even get to him. And, that was hard. Or, at that age, they get sick a lot. And if he was sick, I had to, be in a different room, in a different space for them. And at that age, kids don't understand why mommy won't touch me, especially when I need her the most. I'm sick, I just want my mom. And I'm like, nope, I can't. And it was hard. And then my daughter, she can talk. So she would say, Mom, why don't you want me anymore? Mom, I promise to be good. Mom, I'll do anything just to have you. And I would just hear her ask God, God, please bring my mommy back to me, please. I need her. And that would be very hard at the time. But I had to remember, why I was doing it. And I knew that God would bring me back to her. And I'm just keeping the faith.
That's great. Do you want to tell anything about you in general, your race, family?
African American female, Haitian descent. I am 32 years old. I started at age 30, going through this process. I have 2 children. I'm married. Been married for about 4 years. In the past, I did air traffic. Now I'm doing technical writing for aviation, for an airline, a major airline. And the company that I work for has been really supportive. My old coworkers have been really supportive. My friends have been really supportive. Support really gets you through. This. I think that faith, support, good doctors, and positive attitude are the things that you need that are gonna walk you through this. Little things that I've learned. There's this oil called the Moo oil that helps your hair grow back really fast. So I just went bald, but I'm getting some hair already. Just moisturize. Different chemos do different things to you. So you don't know which chemo is going to do what. So just moisturize, especially because sometimes skin will start peeling or you'll have skin issues. Mouth care is very important. Sometimes you have to literally just brush the teeth and not the gums, or you'll start bleeding out, or you'll get mouth sores. Every 2 hours, there's mouth rinses, but certain mouth rinses for dry mouth. As soon as you see a symptom, like you were telling me earlier, make sure to tell them, even if it's a sneeze or something small. That you just have to say something, and that could be the difference between survival or death. Because if they catch something early on, or they're able to prevent something, your chances are better. I've had infections. This thing right here tends to bring in infections, so you got to keep it extra clean, extra dry. And infections aren't the same. Other people get infections and they kind of just blow through it, but when we get an infection, it is IV chemo, packs on top of packs.
Yep. All right, well, thank you so much. Everyone, like, comment, subscribe. If you have anybody else you want to share a story, anything great, just comment below and just let me know. So thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you. It was nice meeting her, guys. She's
Likewise.
really nice. She's great people.
Come on.